Hello everyone. So today's project is going to focus on this little lathe I have. The annoying thing about this lathe is the small amount of travel that it has on its tailstock. So if you're trying to drill a hole, you've got like this much travel. It's probably 25 millimeters. So I'm going to see if I can do something to extend the travel on this tailstock. And that's today's project. The goal of this project is to use materials that's in my scrap. I don't really want to buy anything. I'm going to rummage through here and see what I can find. I found these two pieces of scrap. So I'm going to see if I can make an extension on this support here, this barrel. So these two kind of fit into each other. We'll see how we can do with that. And the amount of travel on this tailstock is 30 millimeters. And I want it to probably be like close to 100. So I'm going to make the extension 75. Okay, so probably going to have to make a new one of these as well. Okay, that's the lock. I'm going to bring you in closer. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. It also looks like this insert is broken. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to cut this piece 75 mils long. I'm going to cut 75 mils off this one. It's 24. That's 30. So that's perfect. So I'll be able to bore this out to the same diameter as that. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Whatever I do will be completely reversible if I have to. So if I make a total hash of it, I'll just go back to what it was. So there are the two pieces, nicely cut. They will go in there. But to get this all nicely lined up, I'm going to take this off and see if I can cut a small little recess in here so that this can fit into it, just to key it in place. Oh, jeepers, these things are loose. Alrighty. I see these pins here, so this thing is probably not going to come away so easily. Well, it's moved. Right. Let's clean this up. Okay, I'm just going to square the ends off nicely. Okay, that's nice. So both sides are nicely squared off. So I've got this huge cutter in here. It's not one that I use very often. I don't particularly like it, but it needs to earn its keep, so it needs to get used every so often. I actually want to drill 2 holes on all 4 sides. There'll be welding holes, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so there's holes all the way around. Let's do some welding. Alright, so it's sticking out 5 millimeters here. Now I'm just going to weld it in position through these holes all the way around. Okay, I'm just going to leave that to cool off. So I've filled all the holes all the way around, and that thing should be as strong as Hercules. So there it is. Nicely welded. That thing is not going to go anywhere. Alright, well that's flat. I mean, it's not smooth, but it's flat. So there's one, the other one, and so we go. So I think I need to clean out this inside just slightly. So what I have here is a little square block, and this is going to make the light cap at the back. So I need to turn this, you need to machine this out so that it fits in there. For mounting, so there's going to be 4 bolts or threaded bar that's going to go right through in these corners, and it'll bolt this whole thing on. So my reference point is exactly the center of this. So I've used the edge finder both sides, and I've got exactly the center, and then I've moved to, it seems like 16.5 millimeters is the perfect spot. From the center, 16.5, 16.5. So I'm going to drill a hole in the end plate at the same 16.5, and then when I bring the tailstock body over, I can use those same measurements. (15, 16.5). Right, now I'm going to find the center of the circle. Right, that's the middle. Right, 16.5, 16.5, that's where the hole should be. Okay, so I've got this mounted up in the forge or chuck. Okay, so it seems straight. Let's see if I can get it to the middle. Huh. Jeepers, that's close. Okay, this way. Okay. That's it. That happens to be perfect. Now that is concentric with this, and if I just square these edges off, then everything should be referenced to this bore. Alright, I'm done, I think. Okay, there it is. Okay, so there's all the bits. So that's the barrel extension. That's going to go in there. I've got this piece to make this out of. And this piece to make this out of. Alright, so I'm just going to polish up the outside of this. I need this to be very accurate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it in the steady rest. Okay. Okay. I'm going to move this steady rest out now. I set this to as close to 0 as I could get it. Then I set the steady rest up very close to the chuck. I've moved the steady rest out now to the end and rechecked the dial gauge, and it looks good. I've got to bore this, and I need to make a Morse taper 3. So the idea is I'm going to try and set my compound to the Morse taper angle. Okay, so I'm going to fiddle around here and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Alright, so I've got it fairly close. I mean, this Morse taper is not perfect itself. So if I measure it on one side and I measure it on the other side, it is slightly out. So this is pretty good though. That's about as far as I can go. So I've got my compound set up to the Morse taper angle. Now I need to get that bar back in, bore it out, and then cut the Morse taper. Okay, so there we go. I've punched a hole right through. 13 millimeter hole, and 13 millimeters is the size for the thread at the back. So it's 13 millimeters all the way through. Now I need to drill the minor size of the Morse taper 2, which is 20. So I've got a 19 millimeter drill here. I'm going to punch a 19 millimeter hole in, and then from there I am going to use a boring bar so that I can get it properly concentric with the outside. I had to readjust the Morse taper because I had it facing the other way. So it would have been, I would have had to cut in reverse, and I don't have a left-hand boring bar. Let's cut it as best I can. So I got the angle wrong because it's only just touching at the top. Okay, let's try this again. So that's interesting now. I've ground it with a bit of grinding paste. It's still catching in the front, but it's also at the back. I think I'm going to just call that done. I'm going to reassemble this now. So I'm about to make this piece. So I'm going to turn down this side first, get this profile. Okay, so the whole profile is turned. I just want to chamfer these edges. Right, so this is all done here. What I'm thinking is I'm going to cut a normal type thread, quite a big pitch. Okay, I'm going to set the lathe up for thread cutting. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the female thread first. Okay, so I've set up for thread turning. So it's a left-hand thread, so I have to go in and cut the thread coming this way. So I've marked on my boring bar or thread cutting bar how far I need to go in to start. So this should be it. Okay, we have our internal thread. Doesn't look too bad. Just need to chamfer the outside. Okay, so I've just got a piece of aluminium can. Okay, so the threading is cut. Right, so it all seems to work. I mean, obviously this thread is nowhere near as strong as a proper Acme thread. So, well, we'll see how it goes. Alright, so this is in place there. And I need to machine this keyway. So I'm going to just find the center, and then we will put in a small cutter and cut it. Okay, that should be it. Okay. Right, so now I need to cut a groove, a slot like that, and that is to stop the barrel turning when you push it in and out. So this looks like it's a 6mm groove. Right. Okay, so there it is. A nice groove in it, ready to go. It's a matter of reassembly now. I've realized that this plug that goes on the end was a little bit thin because I have to countersink the heads of the bolts into it. So I could either remake this out of a thicker piece, or I've found a 6mm plate I'm going to just weld on here and just machine it back in again. So there it is, welded up all the way around. So all I'm going to do now is rebore the hole through the middle and the 4 holes around the outside, and just clean up the welding a little bit. So that's the cap part, the modified cap, and the bolts will fit in there and they will be flush with the top. But I need to get some Allen cap screws to fit in so that I can tighten them in. So here you can see I've just stuck a little bit of filler in to fill up the gaps, and then I'm going to give it a coat of paint. Okay, so I think we've got all the bits finished now. So that's the barrel. I've given it a coat of paint, and I've replaced the head with Allen caps. So those will go in there. Going to put a little bit of grease on here. And some oil. There we go. Okay, there we go. So that's all assembled. I just want to see what travel we get now. So from there, that's as far as it goes. So it's I would say 95 mils. So we've got 95 millimeter travel, whereas before we had about 30. And the end of the thread should knock out the Morse taper. There we go. So that's the end of this project. Thank you for watching, and please join me on my next one.